Heather. Now that offends me personally. So they're squished up next to each other. We could add a text node with like a common space or something, but we can do better than that. We want to space them apart. So let's learn a little bit about my friend and yours, flexbox. So flexbox, I told you, among other things, can help us decide what to do with space that's left over. It's really useful, especially for styling things that are in a row, things that are lined up horizontally. Because back in the old days, doing that, which is not that long ago, oh my gosh, that was a huge pain in the neck. Dealing with stuff that's stacked on top of each other was never nearly as hard. You can totally use flexbox to do that thing too, but it's especially handy for doing things that are in a row, because before there was just no good way to do it. Heaven help you if you wanted to actually like line things up vertically. Oh my gosh. There were so many hacks for it and they were all awful. So flexbox makes life much easier. CSS tricks, as you might imagine, has some pretty good resources. Look, their search box is already filled out with flexbox. If you're going to search for something, may as well search for that, because they have this big, a complete guide to flexbox. We're not going to get into all of it, but I do encourage you, if you're at all interested in CSS layout, learn this, learn CSS grid, which is even newer and even neater. But we'll dig into it a little bit. So first of all, what do I want to use flexbox on? What I'm trying to do is style each of these things. So I think I'm going to try to style the LI itself. So I want to style the LIs, but I don't necessarily want every LI on the page to be this way. I just want all the LIs in this list to be that way. We gave this UL an ID, right, of spells. So in my CSS, I could say something like, and just for organization's sake, I'll put it right above that. I could say any LI that is a descendant of something with an ID of spells, or I could like put a class name on every LI. ID for identification, class for classification. There's going to be more than one of these, right? It's going to be lots of spells. So I could add a class to each LI if I wanted to. I could say item.classlist.add. What is each one? Each one's a spell. So basically li.spell. So I'll do that. That's how I'll differentiate them. We talked about display block, display inline, or we talked about the fact that there are inline elements and block level elements. Block level elements are things that take up an entire row, right? Things like divs, paragraphs, forms. Inline elements are those that do not take up an entire line, things like links, emphasis, strong, stuff like that. And you set those with the display properties, so like display block, display inline. Stop hitting shift. Okay. I'm going to say display flex. And that means anything with a class of spell should become a flex container. And then what I'm going to do with my flex container is tell it what to do with the space that's left over once it's already put everything in a row. So I'm just going to scroll through here until I see a picture that looks like what I'm trying to accomplish. What I want is for the name and the level to spread out to the edges. Right now they're all squished up against the start. I want them to spread out against the edges like that the Skarsgård fellow who's in It. I forget which one that is. His eyes do that. Here we go. Justify content. Defines the alignment along the main axis. We're not going to get into the whole main axis, cross axis thing. But look, justify content, flex start. If I've got 3 things in my flex box, flex start's going to put them all at the beginning. Flex ends, going to put them all at the end. Center, going to put them right in the center. Space between, ooh, that looks intriguing. Space around, space evenly. The difference between space around and space evenly, kind of subtle. So with space between, notice all the space goes between the items and none at the edges, right? With space around and space evenly, there is space at the edges. The difference, space around, there's only half as much at the beginning and end as there is between each item. With space evenly, there's as much space at the beginning as there is in between. It's okay to look this stuff up each time too. If you use it enough, you'll start to memorize it. So, how about justify content? Align flex items along the main axis of the current line of the flex container. Justify content space between. Flex items are evenly distributed in the line. I like the sound of that. Does it really do it? Is it really that easy? Fire. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
How did it know the difference between, was it because you have two separate spans? Is it just has all those items in the row?
So if you have a flex container, I'll show you here. Yeah. So spell, anything with a class of spell is my flex container, right? So its immediate children are its flex items. Not its children's children, just the immediate children are the flex items. So that is what you are spacing when you use justify content. Yeah, good question. I like it. What if I put a really, really long spell name in here? And then I have to scroll horizontally. Foul. We'll have to do something about that. One thing at a time. Space, spell name, and level evenly in the row.